But I want to say this clearly. The pain isn't about the thing. The pain is about what the thing was doing for you. My friend, when life is already heavy and then your go-to disappears, you experience a double loss. Hi, my friend, and welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and with God's help, I've overcome some of the toughest trials in life that I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself struggling to move beyond a heartbreak or a hardship, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest trials. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those hardships. Let's talk. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. In our last episode, you'll remember that we talked about choosing predictable joy in hard seasons and why needing relief doesn't make you weak, unfaithful, or ungrateful. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, I would highly encourage you to press pause here, go back and listen to it, and then return for this episode. Because today, we're talking about what happens after that. After you've found that thing that brings you a smile, comfort, or joy during the middle of a storm. What happens when the thing that you leaned on for comfort, the thing that steadied you, the thing that helped you get through the week when life was rough, is suddenly gone? When predictable joy disappears, when your go-to is no more, and you're left sitting with feelings, disappointments, or even pain that you thought that you had under control, because the thing that was helping you manage them, your predictable joy, is no longer there. For me, that moment came when my Eagles made an unexpected early exit from the playoffs. And just like that, our Super Bowl hopes were over. And I want to be really honest with you about something. It hit me harder than I expected. Not because football is life, and not because a game defines me. It hit harder than I expected because that had been my predictable joy in a really tough season of life. It was the thing that I looked forward to. It was what helped me exhale and escape. It gave my week structure and anticipation. And when it disappeared, I felt the drop. All the emotions: anger, sadness, loss, fear. And here's where two things can be true at once. I knew in my head it was just football. And I also felt the loss of what it had been doing for me and giving me during this season. Both were true. And this is usually the moment when women like us begin to start judging ourselves. And I know you know what I mean. We tell ourselves things like, why am I this upset? It's only football. I shouldn't care this much. They're making millions and I'm working to make ends meet. Other people have real problems. I shouldn't be this worried about a sport. But I want to say this clearly. The pain isn't about the thing. The pain is about what the thing was doing for you. My friend, when life is already heavy and then your go-to disappears, you experience a double loss because the original stress is still there. The heartbreak that you were escaping from is still there. And the relief that you were leaning on is now gone too. And that is why the reaction feels bigger than you would ever expect. It's not drama. It's not all in your head. It's real. And when your go-to disappears, it doesn't just disappoint you. It removes the buffer that was helping you cope. And without that buffer, you're left face to face, staring at the thing that you had been holding at bay. Maybe that thing is loneliness, or fatigue, or disappointment, or grief, or fear. Not because you avoided them, but because you needed something to help you survive them while carrying them. And so when that source of relief is gone, everything that you were managing shows up all at once, kind of like gremlins in the mirror. And that doesn't mean that you chose wrong. You didn't choose the wrong predictable joy. It means that you've reached a point where the grief needs to be acknowledged and met head on, not bypassed. And my friend, that is not failure. That is actually part of the journey, an important part of the journey. Because this is where growth actually happens. It doesn't happen by saying, I shouldn't have leaned on that. I shouldn't have escaped into that. But by reframing it in this way, that thing helped me. And I know that it was never meant to carry everything. And so now this must be the time that I need to face it. Now, this is something that I talk about in the Bounce Back Guide as well. Accepting heartbreak as part of the journey, rather than treating it like a failure or a setback. When predictable joy disappears, heartbreak often takes its original place in the driver's seat. And learning how to hold that heartbreak without shame actually matters. My friend, two things can be true at once. The thing that helped you mattered. And it was never designed to be your only source of steadiness. The goal isn't to stop enjoying things. The goal is to avoid making any one singular thing the sole place where your relief lives. And this is where layered support, becomes essential. Now, here's what I mean by layered support. Routines that ground you. People who hold space for you. Intentional joy practices. Faith that anchors you rather than corrects you. Honest emotional processing. All of those things become your layered support. So what do I mean by some of those? For some people, having set routines help them anchor themselves in their day. For me, I get up in the morning, I let my dogs out, give them some love and attention. I make my coffee, and before I do anything else, I get cozy on the couch and I play my New York Times games and the LinkedIn games. For a couple of reasons. They steady my day. They help me escape what's happening in my life for something that gives me focus. At my age, any help that I can get steadying my mind before I dive into the creativity of the day is helpful for me. So that's what I mean about finding layered support and why it's so essential. It doesn't replace your joy. It redistributes the weight that you're carrying. Scripture reminds us that God is not only present in our pain, but that He is present in the adjustment that follows it as well. When something that we relied on is suddenly gone or taken away, faith does not rush us past the hurt. But faith also doesn't leave us stuck there. Over and over again, Scripture shows us a God who meets people in transition. After disappointment, after disruption, after what once sustained them was gone. God is not waiting for you on the other side of recalibration, my friend. God is with you inside of the recalibration. And sometimes faith looks less like having answers and more like learning how to lean differently. And like I say, two things can be true at once. So here's the takeaway. If your go-to is gone and you feel unsettled, I want you to hear this. You're not foolish for caring or leaning on your go-to. You're not weak for feeling the loss. You're not failing because you need to adjust. You are responding to change, and two things can be true at once. So I want you to go to your journal, and I want you to sit with this gently. What did I lose when this source of relief disappeared? And what feeling is trying to rush back in? No fixing, no solving, just honesty between you, your journal, and God. And if you want more support as you work to recalibrate, the free Bounce Back Guide is linked in the show notes and ready for you to grab it. So if predictable joy has disappeared from your life, you are not backsliding. You're recalibrating. I want you to be patient with yourself, my friend, because healing isn't about never leaning. It's about learning how to lean wisely. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.